I told you this guy's a genius.
Self-proclaimed, maybe.
Well, as long as it works for him.
Exactly my point.
Awesome.
Prepare yourself.
Okay, back in the game. I spent 2 days now in the park playing frisbee, smoking doobies. And every time I do this and I feel like it relaxes me, I realize how it actually also hinders me, you know, in doing what I want to do, because it actually, I want to go somewhere else now. Or maybe I want to go left anyway. People shouting about shit. And you think they're talking to you. I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't really understand this stuff. Sometimes it's just a little bit confusing when people say something and you project it onto yourself. I have this nagging feeling every time I start on a journey, and that means I leave the house and then I have to decide which supermarket to pick or to take. And it's, just before you start, right? I mean, I've done things where I took a bike and I was building up. I wanted to get to Amsterdam. I had no money and I had a bike, and there was something important which I wanted to attend, or so I thought at that point. It was important to me. I can't say how important it was to anybody else, but I said, you know what? If I want to be in Amsterdam, I have to make a choice. I have to say, okay, I'm gonna do it like this. And then I did it like this. And I took a bike, and that's called Cycling for Myself. That's one of the first videos that I released, Cycling for Myself, and it basically started a whole series of other things that are kind of crazy. And I think that's what it's about, just figuring it out for yourself, and you keep walking. And what did it teach me to take the bike. I didn't go all the way to Amsterdam. Well, I did take the bike to Amsterdam, but I only cycled over the border to the Netherlands, which was roughly 170 kilometers. And that to me was a far stretch from, right, it feels good now to take actually, now it says HT, and I think, is that a sign? You know, I was just talking about signs to myself. And yesterday I did not take the camera on purpose because sometimes you have to step away from the booth, right, and just do something for yourself. But it's so beautiful at the moment. I mean, I just spent the whole day inside recovering. Well, I was only home at 2. And then I tried to relax a little. And then I thought, well, what I'm going to do now? And I don't know, I just have the feeling I don't want to get sucked into other people's sob stories too much. Which is what I'm doing today, because today I have my own sob story. And I just watched the first 3/4 of a movie called, I think it's called Tales from Earthsea. I'm not quite sure. It's from Ghibli. You know, it's the one with the Earthsea in the title. It's not from Hayao Miyazaki, which is then, you know, the daddy. He who, I think, you know, founded Ghibli. It's from Goro Miyazaki, which, you know, I think is his son. It's actually interesting because the movie is nice. I mean, just in terms of storyline and characters, I still think it's very different from Hayao Miyazaki. But somehow he did not continue. Maybe he failed to perceive his own work in a way that allowed him to see how much what he could do. And maybe he still feels like he has to live in the shadow of his father or something. But yeah, I mean, if I say things like this, it's easy to have stuff strike home. But that's just what you realize, because he made one movie, and I don't know if he's working on other movies, but he made one movie, and it could be that he's going to make other movies as well, but he did not make other movies. And I don't know even, right? I didn't even look it up. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. The only thing I know is how I feel like. And how do I feel like right now? Well, I spent 2 days in the park playing frisbee, going nuts. And that just was a bit like, you know, now I need a break. Because then you think, okay, you know, I think I made a new friend, or I'm fairly certain he is a friend, or some kind of friend, or his own version of a friend. You know, friends aren't always friendly. And so, I mean, he does what he wants. And so all I can do is what I want. Because if I keep going back to the park every day because I think, you know, yeah, there's somebody who needs me, and then every day I go there and he gives me, you know, because he smokes cannabis with tobacco, and then he gives me some of that. And then I take it every day and I go there, and I take it every day and I go there, and I take it every day and I go there. Then I'm back in the H, right? I'm back in the loop. And I think it's good to sometimes just say, you know, take flight, you know, just do it yourself. Just don't go always just because, you know, people may want you to be there. You know, if I can make it once in a while, you know, it's all right. Because what I always have to get back to is this you know, there's gonna be family in my life, and even if there isn't, then there's always still me. You know, because there's no guarantee. That's all I know. There's no guarantee to have anything at all, ever. You know, just because you sit around thinking about it, yeah, you may love a woman and you may want to have a child with her, but you may also never see her again. And, well, if you truly love someone, and that's my point that I keep getting back to, because I think, you know, that's like the thing people struggle most with, is to be themselves, and, you know, the wish and the desire for an honest partner that will stay with you and accompany you through until, you know, as far as you can go with each other. And that's exactly the point, because you so often meet women, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure how other people see it, you know, how they have experienced relationships, you know, sexual relationships, whatever, call them romantic relationships. It doesn't really matter how you call these things. But the question is, how do you see it? How do you see these things? What's your experiences that you've had thus far? Hey, wow, this is such a short walk. So much shorter than the other supermarket. But the great thing is, I can still choose the other one if I want to. And I can even walk like this and then go around. So you see, I've had a lot of relationships, and at one point you simply say, you know, I think I know what's gonna work for me. And if there's a woman that just shouts in my face all the time, then all I can say, well, that does not work for me. Which means then she either has to work on herself or find somebody else. But at the same time, of course, if I'm in a relationship and my partner is a certain way, and I say, that does not work for me, and then she says, well, and that does not work for me, because if you reject me the way that I am, then how am I supposed to open up to you? So all I can say to that is, well, someone has to open up to someone to make whatever you think might be, you know, worth working for a reality. Because if two people meet and they fall in love and they both know that that's the real deal, they both know it because they know what's not the real deal, and then they find someone and that's like a representation of everything that you think a man should have or a woman should have. You know, that may go towards, you know, just the perfect size. She's got the perfect breasts. She's got the, you know, that's not the perfect for everyone, because there's men that like fleshy women, and then there's men that like thin women. Yeah, and then there's men that like tall, and then there's men that like small, and then, you know, you can like whatever you want. But in the end, it's the spirit you fall in love with. And it's then the question of whether or not the physical appearance already represents that which is within. And that, of course, also takes a lot of courage. And then, of course, again, you can also see through the whole, you know, whatever is on the inside. You know, you can see through the outside and take a look at the inside. But then it's also a question of how much do you want to raise your partner? Because if you meet someone, you know, like, let's say she's 22 and you're already 30, and you meet this young woman and, I don't know, she gives you these pretty eyes and you think, oh wow, there's so much beauty in her. Yeah, but maybe she's just too stuck on, you know, looking sexy. and just getting credit for the way she looks. You know, I don't know, it doesn't make much sense again. I'm trying to say something, and you know, I don't know why I keep doing these things. Now I go here, I bring empty bottles back, and then a part of me feels like drinking a beer, and then I think, why am I doing this? You know, I haven't drunk a beer in a couple of days now, and now I want to do this. Actually, I wanted to buy some kind of wine, but then you think, why wine? You know? Why wine? Also, why wine around? And, well, the point is I just had some fairly rough days, which is true to a certain degree, but there were some rough things happening, and you just try to, let go of these things and to just process them. And sometimes for me it's easier to sit at home and to say, you know what, I'm just gonna get a beer, and then I'm just gonna sit there and I'm just gonna relax. And when I relax enough, sometimes the world looks a little bit different, but that's for you to decide how you want to get there. That's just the point that I'm always trying to make. It's your life. If you like women that shout at you, go through with it. I've had enough of that, and I realize if a woman is shouting, then she needs attention. And then my position is, to some degree, or I have adopted the position of saying, well, if you need attention, learn to give it to yourself. Because there's no guarantee that I will be around for a very long time. So you have to know how to get on by yourself, or otherwise you will become like this woman in Amélie, this movie called Amélie. I don't know if there was something else to the name. And then you will just sit around and read old letters from lost lovers because you can't let go and open up to something else. And I think that's how I feel in a way, but it helps me to suffer and to push through and to simply continue and to just do something, whatever it is that I want to do, right? So I can't go play frisbee in the park every day, I think. But, I don't know about that. I have no frisbee with me.